Hi, everybody. Welcome to Biblio Files, the show on AADL TV, where we take a few minutes each week to talk all about books. My name is Amanda, and with me each week is Lucy and Christopher. And this week, the topic we are discussing is, what is one of your favorite lines or sentences from a book? Kind of a hard one. Christopher, what did you dig up this week?
Well, I didn't find a book that had my favorite quotes, but I wanted to talk about a particular author who absolutely peppers his books with wild quotes, and that's Raymond Chandler. And here's an old paperback that I read of Farewell, My Lovely. And I don't know if either of you have read any Raymond Chandler, but he is one of the pioneers of hard-boiled detective fiction from way back. He influenced so many other writers, even influencing the Coen brothers when they made Big Lebowski, and so many of his books have been made into movies. But I thought I would just read two very brief lines from his books. And as I said, it's really every single page has lines like this. A Harvard boy, nice use of the subjunctive mood. The end of my foot itched, but my bank account was still trying to crawl under a duck. And here's one more. Time passed again. I don't know how long. I had no watch. They don't make that kind of time in watches anyway. So it's just page after page of this kind of writing. It's really funny. It's really entertaining. And it's well worth a read. So that's Raymond Chandler, and full of great quotes. Lucy, what do you have for us?
So mine's a little less funny, but my favorite line from a book comes from The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. And actually, this is a line towards the end of the book when the character, Esther Greenwood, has had like a breakdown and she gets through the other side of it. And she says, I took a deep breath and listened to the old brag of my heart. I am, I am, I am. And there's a couple different reasons why I love this line. I love it in the context of the book because it's something, she's on the other side of something and it's hopeful. And she's kind of like reminding herself to just focus and breathe. But I like it outside of the book for that reason too. It's kind of a good little mantra. It has been for me. And I also think like Sylvia Plath's story is a sad story. She ended her life early. Her character in this book, Esther Greenwood, is supposed to be very autobiographical, but this book ends in a sort of hopeful place. And so I like to see that there was that glimmer of hope at one point in Sylvia Plath's writing. I love her writing, and the saddest thing about this book for me is that when I finish it, I think, oh, there's only a limited amount of Sylvia Plath writing that I can read because she wasn't around to write very much. So anyway, it's a sad book, but it's somewhat a hopeful quote. So that's from The Bell Jar. Amanda, what did you pick?
All right, so I went in a completely different direction, and I chose the book The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. It's been translated into so many languages. It's for adults, it's for children. It's very well known. It was first published in 1943, and there's so many quotable lines from this book. And I had a hard time coming up with what book, because I feel like whenever I read a book, there's always lines that stand out that I think are just the most perfect sentence in a book ever. And this book just has a bunch of them. And the one that I landed on was actually in the dedication at the beginning of the book. And the quote is, all grown-ups were once children, although few of them remember it. And so I'll just read you the dedication because it's kind of cool. So, to Leon Worth, I ask the indulgence of the children who may read this book for dedicating it to a grown-up. I have a serious reason. He is the best friend I have in the world. I have another reason. This grown-up understands everything, even books about children. I have a third reason. He lives in France where he is hungry and cold. He needs cheering up. If all these reasons are not enough, I will dedicate the book to the child from whom this grown-up grew. Although all grown-ups were once children, although few of them remember it. And so I correct my dedication to Leon Worth when he was a little boy. And I love that sentence in the dedication because it kind of wraps up a lot of the themes that are in the book. You've got a pilot that's crashed his plane in the desert. He meets this young boy, the little prince, who had been traveling from planet to planet because he's lonely, and he keeps running into these adults. And in his dialogues, in his conversations with them, he's confused and doesn't understand why adults don't see the same way he does as a small boy. He's like, why don't they get it? Why are they so concerned with yelling or ordering people around, or with order, or like being admired, or why do they need to own everything? Like, he doesn't understand those things about adults. But the little prince figures out that, okay, some adults can see what I see, some adults can't. So in his initial conversations, he figures out what he can actually say, like how whimsical or dreamy of experiences and things he can share with certain adults. So it's a book about love and loss and friendship and loneliness. It's great for adults to read as well. And I like reading books like this where it talks about grown-ups who don't see the same as kids, or just going back into that child's mindset or that childlike viewpoint. I love things like that, like the Peter Pan sort of vibe. So there's so many great quotes in here. And the book has really great illustrations. And I feel like everybody's read this book. I don't want to make any assumptions, but it's a quick book. And after grabbing my old copy for this episode, I want to go back and reread it because there are so many other wonderful quotes related to that similar theme. So that's my book for this week, The Little Prince. Lucy and Christopher, any final thoughts? No? All right. Well, that was a quick episode, you guys. We have some really great quotes from a variety of books. If you have a book that has a great line in it that you want to share with us, please do. There's a link below where you can get over to our library's website. You can make a comment there. We'd love to hear what you're reading. We'd love to see your recommendations. Those have been fun to look through. We are on YouTube. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, show your library some extra love. And next week, we will be meeting again for another episode of Biblio Files, and we will be chatting about coffee table books, those big, big, beautiful books about art or artists. So we'll see what we can dig up then. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.